Hello. So, I haven't recorded a video in a while, and I just want to do a quick update video. Mostly because I just kind of wanted to share a few things that I've learned recently. Well, where do I even begin? uh, so this is going to be more of like a general update kind of video, not so much a mini rando update video. So speaking of mini rando, you'll notice that I'm not actually working on Mini Rando right now. I'm working on something else. It's called Stay Sharp. That's the tentative title. It's a completely different game. It's not going to be a randomizer, at least in its initial implementation. I'm not really sure if it ever will be a randomizer, or if there will be a randomization feature for it, but essentially I just wanted to create some kind of game. Like I had this idea for a game shortly after I did my kind of mock game jam, and yeah, it's coming along. Maybe I can run it here and show off what's going on with this project. What else is new? So while this thing builds, I just want to talk quickly about other things. So I obviously haven't updated this yet. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so I have tile map rendering happening in this game, which is really cool. But before I get sidetracked by that, yeah, there's actually a new version of Amethyst out, which is really cool. I was on a I don't want to say unstable branch, but I was on like a specific commit of Amethyst that allowed me to run this game on my machines. So yeah, in the newest version of Amethyst, I should actually be able to just run the games on my machines without having to, do anything crazy like this. So I'm very happy about that. That's a really good fix. Yeah, so I also wanted to talk about what was that thing I went to? The Rust Essentials workshop that I went to at LambdaConf. So I attended that remotely. It was pretty interesting. Mostly because I have been working with the language for a while now, but haven't really had any like formal training or any additional instruction or input from other people. So yeah, I actually learned a number of good things from that. I think that happened at the beginning of this month, actually. Yeah. Oh, so I can't believe that it's already been like an entire month since then. But essentially, I'm just gonna show a little bit of my code base here. Let's see if I can find it. Thought I had some struct with it. Yeah, stuff like this. So I've been learning that if you want to have structs, typically you don't want to be borrowing things in them. It's just easier for ergonomics if you just take ownership. And so for things like strings, I think previously in Mini Rando, oh yeah, actually this one does that. Yeah, this one takes a string slice, or a reference to a string slice. So I learned that this is kind of over-optimizing. I don't really need to do this. It's like once I start profiling, and if this happens to show up as a problem, then maybe I should worry about it. But otherwise, it's just gonna make things clunkier and harder to read. So yeah, that's something that I would like to get rid of at some point soon. Actually, I don't really know what this is about. This is kind of bad, because this could be anything. This is basically saying anything can be a tile index, because this takes any type and it just wraps literally any type. It could be like a map. So this is a bad data structure. Yeah, I've definitely learned a lot of things. I'm recognizing problems or like bad things I've done in my code. So I'm very happy that I attended that. I've also attended a local Rust meetup pretty recently. I talked a little bit about Rocket, the web framework, and Actix, comparing them, and like switching from like a Python project that was using Flask to Rocket, and how it was pretty simple because they use a very similar API. I thought that was kind of interesting. Obviously, I don't really do much web development myself with Rust. I'm mostly making games with it, but yeah, it's I thought it was a good way of learning what the ecosystem is like, what other people are doing with the language, and what kind of success they've had with it. So people are sharing their Rust stories, and yeah, people are saying that, you know, everything is quiet on the Rust front. Like, it took 60 days before the first issue popped up, after they put their Rust application into deployment, which I thought was really cool, because they were talking about how other projects they had worked on in other languages weren't that way. Like, it was just day one. Oh, look, we've got complaints already. So yeah, I'm liking what I'm hearing, and it's good to actually talk to the actual people in person who have worked with the language and know like what kind of pain points they've had with the language and where they're taking it. I also learned a lot about more current tools. So I think prior to this, like up to this point, I've been using standard error for error handling, and I kind of thought, you know, well, that has to be Idiomatic. That's just, you know, what's in standard. I never really like looked into error handling solutions, and I've heard of other crates like Failure and Error Chain and whatever else is out there. And there's been a lot of posts like on Reddit where people are, you know, bickering about which one is the best, and I just was like, you know what, I don't care. I'm not even gonna look at this. I probably don't even need this kind of stuff right now, or I don't need to really worry about it. I can just use standard error, and so that's what I've been doing, as you can see up here. But yeah, I learned from that meetup that there's actually been talks going on the on the language side, or I mean on like the Lang team side, where people are saying this standard error is not very good, and there is work to try and switch over to something like Failure. So there is the Failure crate. It seems like that's what standard error is going to look like in the future, but right now there's ongoing work to improve it, so it ends up like that, or at least very similar to it. So I'm thinking maybe instead of using standard error here, maybe I should actually switch over to Failure, because that seems to be what everyone else is doing. Yeah, in recent news, Facebook actually picked up Rust for, or at least they picked Rust for their new Libra cryptocurrency, and so I was poking around in their repo, just trying to see like what kind of dependencies they're using, and yeah, sure enough, they're actually using Failure for their error handling. Failure and error enums, which it seems like a lot of people agree like that's the way that we should be doing error handling, at least for now. That's kind of like the current trend. So yeah, I'm definitely considering that, and I'm probably going to try and switch over to that for this project and maybe Mini Rando. But yeah, what else do I want to talk about? I guess first I'll talk about Mini Rando. So, Mini Rando is, I guess, kind of on hiatus right now. I don't really want to say the project is dead. There's a lot of stuff I don't like about that project. There are some things I actually do like about that project, even in comparison to this one. There are some things that I just kind of hacked together a little bit more quickly in this project. But, yeah, Mini Rando... I feel like I need to kind of clean up the code base a bit if I want to keep working on it. I didn't really have a solid plan for what to do with the game. Like, I didn't even have like a character. I didn't really have a setting. This game, I feel like I have a much clearer and focused idea of what the game is going to turn out to be like. And this also gives me a good like playground or a test bed to try and learn how handling physics in Amethyst works. So that's definitely something else I'm going to have to look into as I work on Stay Sharp. But yeah, for now, Mini Rando is going to be on hold. I'm not sure if I'm actually ever going to finish Mini Rando. I might just cannibalize it and use parts of it for another project, because right here I actually have like an actual character. I have an actual character design, and actually I could maybe show that even. Yeah, so in this game you get to play as a cactus. That's why it's called Stay Sharp. I thought it was kind of cute to be able to do something like this. But yeah, if I'm going to cannibalize that project, I'm probably going to make like a Stay Sharp 2 or something that is more like an open adventure, where you can, you know, actually have an interesting randomizer experience. Because my plan for this game is just to have sort of a game that's a little bit like We Play Tanks, where you just are in like a box, and you have to defeat all the enemies in the box. This game kind of has a more interesting premise, though. Like you're a cactus, so the only thing you can do is like roll around and poke enemies by touching them. It's sort of like it's a subversion of the usual trope of you take contact damage from enemies. So in this game, you deal contact damage to enemies, and they try and lob projectiles at you, basically. So you have to dodge the projectiles and then get in close and actually hit them. And I'm going to try and make sure all the enemies kind of telegraph their attacks, so you don't ever, you know, think, oh man, I'm close to the enemy, are they going to shoot me now? Oh gods. I don't want anything like that, because that just feels unfair. But yeah, that's the general idea for this game. I think it will be pretty fun once I get it all working. Yeah, so I showed off the cactus image that I have here. I just want to point out that lately I've been using Paint.net, actually, instead, for doing all of my artwork. And compared to other tools like Inkscape and GIMP, and plain old Paint, I'm actually quite enjoying Paint.net. It's definitely it's definitely my favorite tool of all the ones that I've tried out so far. So yeah, I got this suggestion off of someone from Discord, and yeah, I've kind of taken it and ran with it, and I'm really enjoying it. It's really good. Okay, is there anything else I wanted to talk about? I thought there was, but maybe I don't exactly remember. Yeah. So I guess I'll move on to things that I have been working on lately, at least with this project. So truth be told, I haven't actually touched this project in a while. I've been super busy with real life stuff lately. But yeah, for this project, I'm at a point where I feel like I can actually start adding like physics to the game, like collision and stuff like that. Not like actual physics, but I've been looking around for solutions for how to do that, and all roads seem to point back to using this Amethyst Rusix library or crate. So I think that's what I'm going to end up doing here ultimately. But is there anything else I want to talk about? No, not really. So I'm just gonna continue learning about Amethyst Rusix. My plan is to try and maybe do some like quick updates about this game in the future. Nothing as long as what I've been doing up till now. Just little quick updates that are kind of high level and don't really... I don't really dig too deep into the code, because honestly, going back through those logs it's not really that easy, especially when they're like an hour long. So yeah, I think that'll be it for today, and I will see you guys next time.